And we are live again. Hopefully this fucking
Didn't start off red this time.
works this time. Yeah, okay, so that's good. Let me just go ahead and pop the link in the chat real quick. Oh, it's right there. Okay. Oops. Oh god, no. Whatever. No. Okay. Okay.
Didn't start off.
Oop. Okay, we are live.
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh, we didn't do a mic. We were fine last time. We're fine.
Yeah,
We're fine.
And we're also green now.
Yes, thank God for green.
Okay. Let's play the guess which of Shannon's favorite Pokemon she got a card for game.
We don't need to play that right now.
Let's see. Hold on. Is Golurk too obvious?
No.
Alright, I'm gonna go Torchic.
Can I tell you a secret?
Mm.
I mostly picked Torchic because Shannon said something about Torchic in chat before the draft.
Alright, if they're in here or not, when we play against them, our nicknames are gonna be all rivals from across generations, alright? But not the Gen 4 rival.
Why?
Just to mess with Shannon.
Mike is good and lag is gone, Ryan says. Good. All right.
Ow, there we go.
Thank God for that. Okay. Okay, we got Ryan here. We got Shannon here. 2 viewers is all we need. Let's go.
Yep.
I'm gonna go switch this over here. You still want to do this?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. Season 5, week 5, power rankings. Great, Ben is here. Now we have to stop.
Rewrite the power rankings so we put them at the top again.
All right. Can we see the? No, never mind. Okay. All right, week 5. Season 5, week 5 power rankings. Oops. Wait. All right. So we have the week 5 results finally. This, I know we say this a lot, but this section is going to be quite a bit shorter than most of our other weekly recaps. Partially because 2 of these games we can't even really talk about because one of them did not get played and one of them we don't have a recording for, at least not yet. And then most of the other games, I feel like there was just one big thing that swung the game in one direction or the other. So it's like there's not a whole lot to get into the details of. But we'll at least touch on those.
I also have been super busy this week and haven't watched a lot of these. Yeah. So this should be the only week that this happens. I do my absolute best to watch every single one of these, get a good idea so I can have some type of synopsis for this, but you've seen me running in and out of here these last couple of days.
Well, yeah, I mean, just last night we were about to start streaming and you got another job.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. Rough week, so far, but should be a small thing. But yeah, so it is actually going to be a little bit easier. We're only one of us kind of knows a lot of this. I watched. I
don't even know all of it.
I watched the Drillers and the Seniors. I watched Doesn't Click in the Bulus. And that's it.
Well, that's fine. Those are probably, out of the games that got played, those are probably the 2 that, mostly the Seniors and Drillers, but those are probably the 2 that require the most attention. Maybe Potatoes and Delibirds, but even then.
I wanted to watch the Geezers and the Team Pussy, but
I mean,
yes. Hector says we need to run a cable into this room. Yeah. Next time, what I'm going to do is, if you can come over here with some Cat 5, or if I get some Cat 5, I'm just going to go in the attic, run it from, it's just one room over, I'll just run it into here. and then maybe run one to my Xbox too. Who knows? But yeah, run some wired connections in here is probably the best thing.
Yeah. And Ryan says, last time I did a video with Maddie, barely remembered all the games we watched in our other league. Yeah. Ryan and Maxwell from the Bulus, them and myself, we do weekly recaps for our other league that we're playing in our VGC league. And yeah, the last recap we did was not as much of a shit show as maybe one or two we've done before. But yeah, I mean, I've been pretty busy too. The whole
playoffs,
like.
For you guys, congrats,
right.
by the way.
Yes.
You did win your playoff game. You're in top 4, is it?
Mm-hmm.
So, good luck to you there. Top 4 in the
that
playoff.
game I remembered. Anyway, we should probably, start talking about the games, maybe?
Yeah, let's do it. Should we just skip the seniors and drillers, or do you want to go right into that?
We can save that for last.
I think so, yeah.
I like that. So that means we're really only going to have one game to talk about in Sword Division here. Po-Tay-Toes and the Delibirds. What I will say about the result here and the team matchup, not so much the Pokemon matchup, but just these two teams. This was probably the first opportunity the Delibirds had to show that they could take on one of the mid to higher range teams. Yeah. And they did it. Because before this, they were one of our undefeated teams. This kind of bleeds into what we're going to talk about in our power rankings. Mm-hmm. But they were one of our undefeated teams, but they were mostly playing low ranking teams. And this time that was their first opportunity to get a win against one of our better teams, I think. And they got it. So
yeah.
They were the beginning of this match, I think, kind of just reminded me of their match against the Bulus. This is a trend I've noticed with the Delibirds. It's not that they do this every time, but sometimes they will lead something like the Luxray against the Bulus. I think that was what they led Luxray against somebody, and then they led the Entei and the Iron Defense Registeel here against the Po-Tay-Toes, and really just used those two to disrupt all the things that the Po-Tay-Toes wanted to do. Like they were just snarling in front of the Rotom Wash. They had Will-O-Wisps, so they just burned the Metagross, and the Registeel was really hard to take down. There was even a point at which the Po-Tay-Toes had set up Trick Room, and they were trying to haze with the Dusknoir to get rid of the Iron Defense boosts. But since they were in Trick Room and Dusknoir is slower, they could just haze, and then the Registeel just gets another Iron Defense up that same turn. So it was the Delibirds just led something very disruptive that number one prevented the Po-Tay-Toes from doing anything that they really wanted to do. Oh, they also burned the Grimmsnarl because the Po-Tay-Toes were using bulk up Grimmsnarl. Yeah, right. It's great. I mean, they lost, but that's great.
Yeah, I love it.
And then so they were just disrupting everything the Po-Tay-Toes wanted to do, and they also they were able to set the game, the pace of the game, so that it was much slower. That's why it reminded me of the what they were doing against the Bulus, because they played very defensively and kind of forced the Bulus into playing a slower game. And then as a result, both this game and that game ended on time. So that's kind of how that went. And then a little bit late into the game, mid to late game, they got the Moltres Comfy in and just did Moltres Comfy stuff.
Win with that.
And then it ended at about it was 3-2. The Delibird still had a boosted Moltres next to the War Turtle. And the Po-Tay-Toes just had, and they also had Virizion in the back. And then the Po-Tay-Toes just had Rotom Wash and Grimmsnarl left, I think. Which, interestingly enough, were their leads. They just switched them out, and they ended up being the last things alive. So I think, given that the Moltres was boosted, I think it was only +1 special attack, because the Scorch had gone for a max bug. But it got the weakness policy off, so it was boosted enough and still had redirection next to it. So I think even if it didn't go to time, the Moltres would have cleaned up, especially with the redirection next to it. So
The Delibirds showing honestly that that late game Moltres is really tough to deal with. Probably one of the few teams that has consistently not Dynamaxed in their first turn, has kind of played it out with positioning, and then just is able to get this Moltres Comfey in right away, and then just clean up from there. So
yeah, it's
honestly good prep from them.
It's good that they're able to kind of catch their opponents off guard, because I think a lot of people have to lead with the Comfey Moltres stuff in mind, and then if they go with more of a defensive lead like they've been known to, they slow down the pace of the game and then allow themselves to position the Comfey Moltres correctly later in the game. They're doing a better job of catching their opponents off guard with probably their most powerful Dynamax option. But at the same time, it's a little bit less consistent, because as we see, their games where they do that often go to time.
Yeah.
Which is, they've been successful with that so far, but we saw the same thing with the Patrats last season, where a lot of their games went to time.
Yeah.
And they were winning a lot of the games on time, but, around the middle/end of the season, they weren't as much.
And I think it's because teams were expecting them to take them to time. I know when we played them, we were like, okay, we're just not going to let them get the early lead on us, and then we'll just hold them defensively after we get the early lead. I think that kind of brings us to the next about. We're going to skip us versus the Raiders versus us, which we just won by forfeit. But the Mudkips beat the Whale Lords kind of the same way, would you say? Unless, did you have more to say on this?
Not really. I mean, there's not really much to say on this next one either.
Yeah,
but I want to give a shout out to my boy Hunter, though. He's in the chat, Archery VGC. He's one of the guys in our VGC league. He's also in top 4. So
we're getting lag. Hold on.
Oh shit! Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Hold on. We'll give it a second.
Fuck it. I'm done. We're ending the stream. No, we're not.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. While we're trying. Yeah.
Also, if Hunter's
Why
here,
are we at 12,000? Okay.
I have no idea. If Hunter is here, I have to say, Hunter, you have been given the coolest name of all time, but you choose to go with Archery VGC as your nickname.
Yeah, I can't speak to that.
Do you know how many different variations of Hunter I would put into it, right? Just across games. If I was playing a Star Wars game, I'd be like X-Wing Hunter or TIE-Wing Hunter. And if I was playing like a Pokemon game, I'd be like Elite Trainer Hunter. I would go with that. Hold on, let's see what we got here. Okay, cool.
Better now? Okay, good.
They got to hear my Hunter rant.
Okay. Brian, go fuck yourself. Okay, well, then let's keep going. Okay, so Raiders and Burnout just didn't happen. Scheduling conflict, automatic forfeit win, that's it. Mudkips and Wailords, all we can really say about this game is that it went to time, and it ended at about 4-4. I just know that, as Shannon mentioned, that once they got the 3-minute warning, she was able to kind of estimate the opponent's HP and count up their own HP, and by her estimation, they were winning by HP percentage, so they decided to stall after that 3-minute warning came up, and she was right, and they won. We don't have a recording for this yet. I wish we could comment on it more, but that's kind of all we have.
Yeah.
So,
also, we haven't figured this out yet. We haven't gotten the...
He's not in the league and he's being roasted. Yeah, that's what we do here.
If it comes down to it, I believe we can play the Raiders again. And we haven't gotten confirmation from this from other people. We talked about this a little bit. But if we need the differential, we'll end up playing the Raiders again and see if we can get that game done.
It's a very unlikely scenario, but it basically comes down to like we'd have to clear this with the other admins first, because I can't make the decision because I'm involved. So it comes down to the others. But it would basically be, excuse me, at the end of the season, If we needed, we got a +3 differential off of this forfeit win. That's just the standard for forfeits. If we needed a +4 or higher, something above +3, then maybe we'd be able to play them again, and then the result is what it is instead of a forfeit win with a +3. I don't know for sure though. We will see.
Yeah,
it's probably not going to come down to that because that's a very unlikely scenario, but I guess it's worth mentioning, I suppose.
What I would say is Jared got that -3 victory. I would take that win and just walk with it. That's a W, buddy. It's a W. Just go with it. Team Pussy versus the Geezers. You want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So this one really just came down to the only thing the Geezers had to beat Celesteela was the Volcanion, and it died before Celesteela came out. That was kind of it. I guess yes, Ryan, we're pretty confident. So, but yeah, the Volcanion died mostly. I guess it's worth mentioning that Team Pussy also just kind of wrecked him with their Trick Room mode. We've kind of harped on the Geezers before for having a bad Trick Room matchup, and it really came through here. They picked up the Vikavolt to help with that matchup, I guess. But like we said, Vikavolt is not as slow as you'd want it to be to deal with opposing Trick Room modes, and Team Pussy's got that hat, right? So the hat was just slower than everything. They put a Life Orb on it. It Dynamaxed, and fuck, man, like they were they had Salamence out, and they switched the Salamence into Volcanion expecting a Max Starfall, which did come out, but fuck, man, Max Starfall did more than half. Yeah. Like, and the Volcanion was kind of just done after that, and it was Life Orb Volcanion too, so like the last hit that it got off, it just killed itself to Life Orb damage, so like it couldn't even sit there and like kill something so the Celesteela could come out. It was just like, nope, the hat just wrecked him in Trick Room. Volcanion wasn't there to stop Celesteela, and they just couldn't hack it. And because of that, they just were in no position to be Dynamaxing anything, and they didn't even Dynamax until the last couple turns of the game, when they Dynamaxed the fucking Sandaconda when that was the only thing left alive. So that was that. It was just wrecked by Trick Room. Volcanion gone. They couldn't deal with Celesteela, and the Celesteela got to like +2 special attack in one turn. It just went for a fucking Power Herb Meteor Beam and killed something. got a special attack boost on the Beast Boost. So like, yeah, that was a little bit rough there.
But hey, good showing by Team Pussy. I mean, they beat an undefeated team, really showing that they're here. They're here, man. They're back. They're a team that's not to be messed with. So, you know, beating an undefeated team like that shows really, really good play, prep, and all that.
I also just want to mention, since we're on Team Pussy right now, this is something I've wanted to mention in a lot of our streams, but it's just been slipping my mind. You fucking people have such a short memory when it comes to the pick'ems. Like, it's as soon as a team starts winning, you're like, oh, we're picking them in pick'ems. And when a team's not doing so well, even when you know they're a good team, they just get 0 votes. It's crazy how like the last 2 or 3 weeks influence pick'ems way more than they should. Like, even last season, like, we all knew Team Pussy was great. They were returning champions, right?
Yeah.
And they took a few losses, and some of them were just kind of unfair. Some of them were due to RNG, and all of a sudden it was just like, oh, Team Pussy's playing anybody. Obviously they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
It's like, no, not obviously they're gonna lose. Like, you need to take into account the history of some of these teams a little bit more.
The rosters, all of that. In sports, obviously, it's called recency bias, but
that's it. Yes.
But they have a saying for it, and it's called "What have you done for me lately?" It is all about, I don't care what you did last year, I don't care what you did the year before that. What have you done for me lately? And it's like, dude, what? Yes, I had a bad game. Like, I'm sorry. No. Well, that's what you are. That's what you are.
Right, but it's not. In reality, it's not. Like, a good team takes a few losses. Like Team Pussy last season is the best example of that.
Yeah.
I think they're one of our best teams, and they took some tough losses in the beginning, and all of a sudden everybody's expecting Team Pussy to fucking suck shit, and then we get to the beginning of this season, and people still remember that, and all of a sudden it's like, the first couple of weeks, like, oh, well, everybody voting in the pick'ems is like, yeah, Team Pussy's gonna lose. Like, no, dude, get out of here with that shit.
Then the other one too is that probably does get the respect that they deserve because, like, they always play well.
Oh, god damn it! This is probably just gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
Like throughout the. Let's just talk through it. Whatever.
Well, I was gonna say, they can see this on the. It's recording this anyway, so
I guess, yeah.
I usually don't see any lag or anything like that in the playback.
There are some jumps sometimes. It's not so much lag, but it just like it cuts. Yeah,
true. Let's see. We'll see if we get it back here. But
we got a good number now.
But Doesn't Click typically is one of the teams that on a Trick Room team, right? You're right about that. Let me see.
Service. That's what we need.
Yeah.
I mean, the lag was bad even when our speed was good. So I think waiting for everybody to just tell us that it's cool again is, we're probably just gonna end up sitting here like for a while. So
it's fine by me. Do you want another one?
No, I'm good.
No, I'm pretty. I'm a little bit more than I should be.
But let's just push through it. Let's just keep going. Keep talking.
Doesn't Click is one of the teams I feel that legitimately like, they are not what have you done for me lately. People will look at them and go, I think they can do all right. They're still a good team, because they have taken a few losses.
They've just been one of the most consistent, and since like the only bad season that they've actually had was season 3, and we weren't even so.
But what I'll say is this last game was really good. The Bulus versus Doesn't Click.
Tell us about that one.
Well, I mean, they led Togetic and Blastoise. And
obviously, follow me, Shell Smash.
Obviously, you're going to follow me, Shell Smash. And you got to watch out for the Blastoise. It's going to do a lot of big damage there. But no, that's not what happened. Not at all. No. Hey, we got to follow me from the Blastoise.
No, we actually got a fake out.
Oh yeah, we did get a fake out, huh? Yeah. They just, they led Dragapult and what else? Toxtricity, yeah. And nasty plot right up with the Togetic.
I was talking to Ryan a little bit before, Ryan from the Bulus, since we have Ryan's on both sides of this this matchup. I was talking to Ryan a little bit before this match, and he told me what they were gonna like before he explained it to me. My initial response was like, "No, dude, you guys are 0-3. Please don't do this."
Against Doesn't Click.
Right. And then he explained it to me, and I started looking at the matchup and started looking at like what they were gonna do with the Dynamax +2 Togetic, and I was like, oh, okay, that might work. That sounds fucking ridiculous, but that might actually work. And well, the check mark is next to the Bulu's name, so
it worked. And but you know what too? They actually played really well out of Trick Room too. Or I'm sorry, not out of Trick Room. Once the Dynamax ended, once the Togetic was off of the field, they did a lot to kind of like make sure that they can maintain the momentum. They were able to, I think the Heatran kind of came out and was able to do a decent amount of work because I believe the sun was up and they were able to launch off like
Heatran came out a couple of different times.
Yeah. And I think that was a big thing, is making sure that a lot of their heavy, because they Dynamaxed the Togetic, they were able to preserve so much of the heavy hitters they had.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, and, that they had in the back. And since Togetic took care of all of Doesn't Click's heavy hitters, it was like, cool. Now you have to deal with Heatran and Rillaboom, and you don't have anything left.
And Nidoqueen.
Yeah. And you don't have anything left to deal with that.
And I mean, well, not all of the heavy hitters were taken out by the Togetic, but it got a couple of good KOs. Mm-hmm. And then what happened was like the Pokemon that were out were like after both Dynamaxes were over, the Pokemon that were out from Doesn't Click was like the Decidueye and the Dragapult, and the Decidueye it's not that strong to begin with, but on top of that, it also got burned by the heat wave, and then the Dragapult couldn't really kill shit fast enough because it was relying on those 2-turn moves like Phantom Force. So it's not something that could just like boom KO. It had to spend a turn, doing something else first. So, and then in the back, Doesn't Click had they had the Seismitoad, which is a fucking Seismitoad, and then they had Urshifu, but Urshifu didn't come out until it was the last thing. And the Bulus, like you said, since they Dynamaxed the Togetic, they still had other heavy hitters in the later part of the game that were able to do more work against that kind of the lackluster stuff that Doesn't Click had on the field. They had the Nidoqueen, they had the Rillaboom, they had the Heatran, and they were able to clean up pretty effectively. I mean, once the Urshifu came out, they were just the grassy terrain had expired, but they were still going for glides just to get some damage off and to get a free switch into the Heatran. And the Heatran had Chople Berry, so it didn't give a shit about close combat. It just, the Urshifu was low. It was at -1 special defense after the close combat. Flash Cannon just finished it off super easy. So that was it. So I think that point you made is extremely important because the Togetic was one of their big threats. Was their Fly Lipard,
the copycat.
that was hilarious. But I actually this is why I like listening to commentary from some teams, which kind of makes me want to do commentary sometimes on our matches. But I don't know. We'll table that idea for another time. But the thing that Maxwell said during the match was, "I'm going to copycat in case I can pick up a Rage Powder," which was a fantastic idea. That was a super cool idea. I loved that. I love that even more than I loved seeing Lipard use Fly, which was still
great
funny.
too.
But yeah, that was. I think that's good thinking on your part.
Yeah, but it was great when he's like, "I'm locked into Fly." I always laugh about that too. Like, I guess I clicked Fly on Lipard. Like,
so yeah, that's about it for that one. You got any more thoughts on this one?
No, great game. Good job for the Bulus getting their win.
Yes, yeah, and this is kind of you know what? I'll save that point for when we're in power rankings. Next game, Pixies versus the Patrats. Did you watch this one?
Nope.
Okay, I watched this one time immediately after it dropped, and I don't really remember much about it except for that it was a 6-0 where Mudsdale killed everything.
Swept. I did see this one.
You did?
I don't remember much about it either because I was like, dude, Mudsdale's. But yeah, essentially Mudsdale came out. It was own tempo. Was it Swagger or Klefki?
Yes.
And
it was
that was it.
Mudsdale killed everything. That was it.
I don't even think it was in Trick Room.
Yeah, like I don't think anyone clicked Trick Room the whole time. I don't think. I don't know why the Patrats would, but yeah, it was just like they just did they just did their Urshifu Thunderous shit again, and and they're okay.
After we had just given them props for like
right, they were mixing it up a little bit,
that,
and they even won a game not doing that, and then another game against the Mats, it was really close. They actually did well, and then here they just go with the Urshifu Thunderous. They just get fucking wrecked, which was that wasn't their only issue. Like I noticed that the bluff on Tekka's side was level 1. You can't do that, dude.
Yeah.
They know what your bluff is. You're not Vishy. You got to have a genuine bluff. And then we get into the game and they lead their most predictable lead. Then they make a turn 1 play that makes absolutely no fucking sense. I think they went for Airstream Wicked Blow into Klefki, and it didn't die because of course it didn't.
Yeah.
Why? And then later on in the game, the Mudsdale went for Max Darkness on whatever Pokemon was sitting next to Thunderous. And when they were doing that, I was like, oh shit, don't do that, you're going to activate Defiant. And then Defiant didn't even go off. They had the wrong ability. Like they were I'm pretty sure they were physical. And Defiant didn't even go off when they got the special defense drop.
Yeah, I think it's good to compare the Delibirds and the Patrats. And the reason why is because they have a mode with 2 Pokemon that are very good in VGC. Like, we saw the Comfey Moltres in Series 7. We saw the Thunderous Urshifu in Series 7. And the difference is the Delibirds are like, yeah, this mode's real solid. We don't need to lead with that. Teams are going to come prep for that. We don't need to lead with that. We can position it in a way to where we can activate it in other ways. They feel compelled to lead this every time, and because of that, it's just teams are they're going to come prep for it. This league is too good.
Right.
This league is just too good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty straightforward. I don't even really remember the specifics of how that all played out. I just know that the Pixies won 6-0 and Mudsdale killed everything.
And it wasn't even like at a certain point the Pixies were just like, well, I guess we just go for the 6-0 and just preserve stuff, right?
Right.
Like,
because why not? Yeah. So, yeah, that was kind of a mess, but congrats to Ty and Nick for that, because
good win for them.
I mean, yeah, taking a 6-0 win, that's literally the best you can hope for in any given week. So good shit. Second time the Patrats have lost 0-6 though, so you might want to do something about that. And our last game from Shield Division, we got the Ally Switch Spammers versus the Mats. This game again, like some of the others, it's kind of just one big thing that decided the game in one direction. Like for it was just Hatterene swept, and then they had nothing for Celesteela because Volcanion was gone. That kind of decided the game. For the Pixies and Patrats, it was just they weren't prepared for Mudsdale, and the +2 Mudsdale just swept through the entire game. For this one, it's kind of the same thing. It was just a matter of like Regidrago put on so much pressure that the Spammers couldn't do anything. They couldn't even reasonably Dynamax anything, and the Drago just did so much damage that they couldn't really do anything. They even had Azumarill out on the field, but the Benevici played well enough with the Indeedee that they were just able to redirect and Dragon Energy in front of the Azumarill anyway. So they Dynamaxed like at the very end. Actually, by which I mean the Spammers did. Benevici actually Dynamaxed the Regidrago when it was in red HP, and on it they just used Max Strike to like lower speed and I think to cover for potential Azumarill switch in, because the Azumarill came in and out, which was actually optimal. Like, I'm not giving him shit for not clicking Wormwind. It was actually good the way that they played it, but it was fucking hilarious. Like, if you told me, oh yeah, they Dynamaxed Regidrago in the red and never clicked Wormwind, I'd be like, hey, excuse me? What?
And then won.
Yeah, but no, it was actually the correct thing to do. So, and then also a minor mistake on the Spammers end. They actually they had the Regieleki out at the end of the game in front of Swampert, and they could have just let it go to time. There was less than a minute left when the turn timer started, but they selected a move anyway, and they were sitting in front of a Swampert and just let the Aleki go down and just lost a differential point for no reason. Don't do that. Preserve differential. Please preserve differential. They were losing either way, so
yeah,
like
just take the game. Just take the one mon.
Right. Preserve differential. You gotta preserve differential.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. Except for
we're gonna watch the Cheek Drillers.
Yes. So this one we're this is our second time watching a game live on stream. Oh, please work.
Or maybe not.
Maybe not. Fucking
You should have loaded it before.
Yeah, but like it only loads so much because YouTube.
You should have downloaded it.
That would have been a good idea, actually.
Maybe
it'll work. Everybody pray. Please send us your energy, please. We're making a YouTube spirit bomb. Please send us your energy.
We just blame is it Marcus? Who's Moon?
Moon is Zach.
Moon is Zach. We'll blame Zach's channel.
I'm okay with that.
If it was anybody else's channel, we would be able to watch this.
Oh, come on. Wait.
We got a thumbnail.
It took us that long to get... Oh, okay. Wait, this is working. Okay, it's going to be kind of shitty quality, but whatever.
We got to mute the...
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah. Okay, so, turn, and then you get the Dynamax slot back into the Blastoise. This just confused the shit out of me. And they were Life Orb with Water Spout? Why? That's weird. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, it worked, I guess, but mostly because they never clicked Shell Smash.
I mean, they had Life Orb, which we still debate on whether or not that was the right move.
Right. So I don't know. Let's see. So all right. So we can fast forward here. This is just a double Dynamax turn 1. Doop-a-doop.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Okay. I guess we can't skip ahead that much, but yeah. So we get the Porygon Z and we get the G-Max Blastoise, which I'm still a little bit uncomfortable looking at the backside of that shell. But this was a good cover for Shell Smash because they went for 2 moves that lowered speed, so they're putting Blastoise back at neutral. So that's pretty cool. Max Strike Icy Wind is good. Fungus eats its the Chillin' Berry. Let's see how much damage this does. I'm pretty sure we were watching this on their side. I'm pretty sure this was actually survived at 1 HP.
It was 1 HP.
Yeah. So that's kind of nuts. And then, of course, we see the Max Darkness brings the Starmie down to Sash. Lowered special defense on the...
On the Porygon.
On the Porygon. Which is probably relevant in a couple of turns here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's see. This next turn, I like the play from the Drillers because I think this is where they switch out the Fungus. This is something that I commended Doesn't Click for like a week or 2 ago when they had a really low HP Life Orb Dragapult that was going to die if it attacked one more time to its own Life Orb damage. Preserving Pokemon with really low HP is sometimes worth it because of how fucking awful the timer is.
Yeah.
So it was... Yes, Brian, that is your bad. What was I saying? Preserving low HP mons. So, you a lot of the time in VGC, you're kind of thinking like, all right, this mon's at 1 HP. It's not really doing anything. I'm just gonna let it sit here and die, right? You don't always want to do that here. This is something we're learning, especially this time because the timer seems to be so much worse this season. But it's often worth it to preserve low HP Pokemon, even if you're switching something in to take a lot of damage, like the Pikachu did.
Like it did right there.
But like as we see later, they also preserve the Pikachu at 1 HP, and that helps.
Yeah.
So because it worked, and that's something that's especially important in this league in this season, especially. So. Pikachu just goes for Fake Out, kills Starmie. And then this is going to do a lot of damage to the Blastoise here. It's going to bring it down to like 25-30%.
But this -1 Life Orb boosted.
Right. Big 150 base power Cannonade off here. And it just kills. It doesn't even need the extra damage at the end of the turn. Just kills the Porygon there. So, both Dynamaxes are over now. So now we've got the Corviknight coming in, and we've got the and we got the Marowak coming in. So,
yeah, because we saw from the Blastoise the Darkness, the Hailstorm, and then the Cannonade at the very end.
Yeah, they went for Hailstorm into the Porygon's Max Guard, which was a decent play. I think it wasn't going to kill the Porygon, but it at least it was at least gonna the Hail Chip was gonna take out the Starmie, which is what they were probably going for. Oh God! All right, let's just set it at a lower quality so it stops fucking doing this. So this turn, they bring out the Corviknight and the Marowak. Oh, please work. Please don't do this.
We're lagging already as it is, so.
It's all right. We'll get through it. I believe they end up going for a Tailwind and an Earthquake, which is legit because the Blastoise is already at -1 speed, so a Tailwind with the Blastoise at -1 speed. The Marowak is going to be able to outspeed just fine. The Pikachu can't do anything. Oh god, this is terrible.
Whatever, we can see the board state.
Yeah, okay, fine.
That yellow thing is Pikachu. That fat blue thing is that looks like Blastoise.
All right, I'm gonna put it back up to 360. Okay, this is usable.
You know what? We're helping people out because they don't want their HP numbers being revealed. So we're censoring out the HP numbers.
You're right. Whatever way we can spin it. Okay, so yes, this turn is the Tailwind Earthquake. The Pikachu, I believe, either protects or switches out.
They swapped into Rotom.
Oh yeah, they swapped into Rotom, so they're immune to the EQ. Rotom is good here because it's going to be able to hit the Marowak, but the Marowak is still protecting the Corviknight with Lightning Rod. So Corviknight's going to be able to...
Pikachu too.
Oh yeah, I didn't even... Well, they switched the Pikachu out this next turn.
Yeah, they did it when they went for an electric type attack too, I think.
No, they actually go for Leaf Storm here. So Pikachu goes out, Arcanine comes in, and then I think this is an Iron Defense and Protect from Marowak. So decent play. So that was an Iron Defense and Protect from Marowak. They're taking a lot of damage from this Cannonade.
The Cannonade did so much damage. It was really good.
And there's one more turn of Cannonade here.
Yeah.
So I think what you need to do, your safest play if you're the seniors, I was watching, we were of course watching from the Drillers side, so I was thinking like, how do you cover for a Roost on the Corviknight plus the Marowak switching out? Because you're protected from, you're faster, you're in Tailwind, so you're going to Roost before the Thunderbolt comes out, so you're not going to be weak to the electric attack, even if they call your Marowak switch. And then you can also switch into your Clefairy to eat the Leaf Storm on the Marowak slot, right? So that's a pretty safe play, especially because like they very intentionally switched the Arcanine into your Corviknight, knowing that they were going to get intimidated. So you've got to assume like it's likely a special Arcanine if they're, first of all, if they're prepping for a Corviknight and they're directly switching into it, right? Yeah. So that's something you definitely have to cover for. So you can't just rely on like, oh, we're +2 and they're -1. Flare Blitz isn't going to do much. So there's an overheat, right? Because of course you're going to use Special Arcanine against Corviknight, and because they didn't Roost, they took enough damage for Corviknight to go down
the Cannonade.
To the last turn. This was the last turn of Cannonade. If you just fucking Roosted, Cannonade would be gone.
I mean, the Body Press did big damage, but yeah.
But it would have been so much more worth it to just preserve the Corviknight. And then, since the overheat went off, the Arcanine's not even doing as much damage next turn.
So much good damage right there, too.
Right. So, now this is... Are we loud?
No. They're talking about the laptop.
Oh, okay. I'll move the mic up a little bit. That might help. Let us know if that helps. Yeah, okay. That's fine. So that was I felt the Corviknight was in a really good position. Seniors just made a mistake there and lost it. Now they're still in a pretty good position because it seems like the Drillers are going to have a really hard time taking out this Darmanitan.
Yeah. Especially because it appeared to be... They seem to run a choice item on it every week. Mm-hmm. So you have to account for the fact that it could either be faster than you or it's just going to start blowing through you.
Right, and it's like... But still, I think we know that the Drillers have... I'm going to pause it here. We know the Drillers have this half HP Arcanine. Behind the Arcanine, they have a 1 HP Fungus and a 1 HP Pikachu.
Yeah.
Now, if they can get the Pikachu in on a free switch, then
Fungus should be at 30%, by the way. Because Regenerator. Doesn't he have Regenerator?
I don't know. I thought I saw it at 1 HP when they were on the switching screen.
Possibly.
Either way, it's going to die to a Flare Blitz, no matter what. They're at low HP. The Pikachu could do something with a Follow Me or a Fake Out if it gets a free switch. And then, of course, we have the Rotom here, which is Grass type. It doesn't want to take a Flare Blitz.
And a -2.
And it's at -2 special attack, so it's not really doing much out here. You probably want to switch it out. Then you have Blastoise at very low HP. That thing's going to die to a Flare Blitz. I think when I was watching this game live, I felt the one saving grace was the Mimikyu, which was fresh, hadn't hit the field at all.
We hadn't seen it yet either, though.
Right. I mean, we saw it in on their screens. So we were watching from their end.
Yeah.
You're right. So we had seen the Mimikyu, and I was thinking, bringing in Mimikyu fresh, if you can just get a free switch into it, is really nice because it can help if it just it can take a Flare Blitz if it still has its disguise. What you don't want to do is switch it in and have it break its disguise when it can't even move on that turn because its defense isn't that good and it's probably going down to a Flare Blitz if its disguise is not up. So, let's fast forward here a little bit. Mimikyu comes out, Arcanine protects, and Flare Blitz goes into Mimikyu. Not great.
Yeah.
I think Mimikyu, with its disguise up, and if it had some kind of redirection next to it, which you got 2 redirectors behind Arcanine, that was probably going to be your best bet because you could at least take out Clefairy with like a Shadow Claw or a Play Rough because it's pretty low. And then ideally you redirect a hit or your disguise to redirect or
You're forcing them to have to put 3 hits on the board state.
Right.
1 to knock out a Pokemon on the side, and 2 to knock out the other Pokemon on the other side. So it commits a decent amount of resources to that board state if the Mimikyu comes in fresh. Now they pick up a KO no matter what is on the field.
Right. Especially because Mimikyu loses that little bit of HP. Like if it's at full, maybe it lives a Flare Blitz, but probably not after that chip from losing disguise. So, they switch out the Arcanine, which is understandable. You want to get rid of that -2, and then of course
maybe neuter this Darmanitan with an Intimidate.
That too, yeah. So the Intimidate, or and the Flare Blitz just takes out the Mimikyu here, and then the Sing actually lands. It's not something you see every day.
Nope, but that's why you carry it. If you can get it, then it's extremely effective.
So, and now they bring out Rotom Heat, or Rotom Mo again. So they go for Protect, just to probably stall out a sleep turn, which is fair, makes sense. Nothing happens. Flare Blitz just goes into the Protect. Then this next turn, they're going to switch out the Pikachu into the Arcanine for an Intimidate. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're great here.
Right. Then...
they go for Helping Hand.
Right. Then we see Clefairy go for Helping Hand. So this is the...
Neutral.
This is the equivalent of a neutral hit. Then we see a Flare Blitz.
Okay,
Akaberry.
cool. Flare Berry pops, all right. Now we're
so
talking
you
here.
should be able to, with the Akaberry, surely you calced for the Flare... This is what we call a teachable moment. Okay. For the love of Christ, don't just put a type resist berry on something and assume that it's going to live the hit. Yeah. I did the calcs on this. It's not that hard to put enough defense in that to guaranteed live that hit.
And we had Volcarona last season. Charty Berry was something that there were so many times where we were just like, it's not even worth to put Charty Berry on, it just dies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like we can't make it work and hit the benchmarks that we want. It's useless. It just dies. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
We probably would have put Charty Berry on there if we weren't really checking it way more than we probably should have. And I think that's one of the things is just a little bit more on the Darmanitan. And they had the right idea. They're like, look, at -1, we for sure live. Plus Akaberry -1, that thing's living. So yeah, it was.
But at neutral, it ends up being a roll, so it's probably worth it to put enough defense in there to just live the neutral one. So, and we saw the same thing last season, I think, with the Skarmories when they were using the Comfey. They put Babiri Berry on the Comfey. They were going up against the Potatoes, and
they didn't live a Life Orb Max Steel Spike from Excadrill, right?
Right. Yeah. It was. I don't know if it was Life. It was some kind of boosting item, but it was. They had Babiri Berry on it. The Excadrill went for Steel Spike, and they were like, "All right, cool. We lit."
Nope.
Whoops. You gotta calc for that shit, dude. Even if you're putting the berry on it to live like something that's kind of weak, and you're like, well, this only KOs because it's super effective, so just slap the berry on it and we're good. It never hurts to just do that calc anyway.
Yeah.
Just do your calcs, man. Do your calcs.
They were definitely going to live Fire Punch from Marowak, though.
I mean, sure, probably, but...
Not the sheer force Flare Blitz, stab Flare Blitz from Darmanitan.
Yeah. So, all right. So that happens then. Their last mon on this site is Blastoise. We got the 3-minute warning there. This is where I figure as long as they Flare Blitz the Blastoise, it's over. Because, they haven't seen which water attack Blastoise has yet. They've only seen G-Max Cannonade. Mm-hmm. So, and the Blastoise is low, man. That Flare Blitz is definitely going to take it out, even though Blastoise is kind of thick.
Does Torrent activate here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. So, which is, I guess, something else to consider, because if they just have Scald, that's not great either. Especially because I don't know what Clefairy does here. Does it Follow Me or Helping Hand? Okay, so it does go for Follow Me, so really they just didn't end up covering for...
They said they were terrified of Protect on Blastoise, too.
Yeah, I mean, even then, what happens then?
Not doing anything to you, yeah, because it's locked. It has Heat. Now we saw Heat Wave, Overheat.
Right. And Protect. And
maybe Will-O-Wisp.
So the Water Spout's enough to get a double KO here, and that's it. That's game. So I think, honestly, there were a lot of points where the seniors had it if they just made the right play. I don't want to say that Allan and Hector were relying on them making the wrong play, but they had the upper hand over the Drillers a couple of different times, and they just lost it. So, and then... Did
they let the KO go here?
I'm sure they would have just protected.
We just want to make sure.
Yeah, they just protect.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah. By the way, that's what you got to do.
Yep, that's how you do it.
If you're down to your last mon, you just can't win. There's one more turn.
Just protect.
Just either let the time run out, or you just protect.
Actually, you save a Pokemon.
Yeah. So that was our. That was probably, out of all the games this week, that was probably the one that was. Oh God! Come on. Okay, thank God. That was probably the one that was most worth going into in a little more detail. The other ones, like we said, it was kind of just, there was one thing that really just put it over the edge for one team or the other. Yeah. So that's that. Next, we're going to move into transactions. We have fewer transactions than last time. Not by much. Do you want to
analyze these, or do you want to just say them?
There's a few that are worth analyzing a little bit, but not that much.
All right. Well, let's just say them first, and then we'll analyze the ones we like.
Sure. So the Ally Switch Spammers just trading one Dragon type for another. They're getting rid of Haxorus for the Goodra, because Goodra was dropped by the Geezers last time. The Bulus are trading the Ghastly for the Drifloon. Trading a D-tier Ghost type for another D-tier Ghost type. They got the Unburdened stuff with the Grassy Seed. That's cool. Gorgeist for Runerigus, trading one Ghost type, B-tier Ghost type Trick Room Setter for another. We got the Seniors trading one Rotom for another. I actually like this form better. I like this trade. Trading one slow ground type for another, from the Kanto Marowak to the Golurk. Hopefully Shannon's not too upset about that. Then we got the Mats trading the Electivire for Aegislash. Aegislash is not something we've seen in this league at all in Gen 8, which I think that'll be interesting to see. Got
rid of a high tier, or very valuable redirector too. But right. The NDD has just been doing so much work for him. I understand why they did it.
For sure, yeah. And then we got a Alolan Persian out for the Weavile on the Geezers. Again, sticking to the same typing there. Still got a fast Mon, more offensive than supportive. And then we've got the Kumbaskin for the Boldor down there in D tier. Wailords, we get the Graplocked out for Squirtle, trading something that's honestly never hit the field for redirection, which they don't have, so that's probably good. Team Pussy dropping a Alolan Exeggutor for Flapple. Again, staying consistent with their types there. Then we have the Porygons trading out the Pikachu for Kanto Persian and trading out their Duskull for G-Max Eevee. And then we have the SoCal Cheek Drillers dropping one of their 3 redirectors for something a little bit faster. So, let's start at the top. Which of the top ones you want to comment on?
Haxorus for Gudra seems like a downgrade. I'm just kidding. You know what they need? They need bulk to kind of offset the amount of threats that they have. I think
that's
they're
fair.
understanding that they're a little bit more on the glass cannon side of things next to Clefairy, and now they have like a decent defensive pivot that can come in, hold it down for a couple of turns, and allow them to push momentum back. So I do like the trade.
Yeah, it's obviously not as threatening as the Haxorus is, but it's more. I think because of that bulk, it's generally more reliable.
Yeah.
I also don't want to see Dave taking credit for this shit.
We take credit for everything.
That's our
First
job.
off.
That's our job. Bulus, their trade, I think, is probably overall positive, but it's not really a huge deal. It's like I said, they got the unburdened stuff with Grassy Seed. There's potential for that, but that stuff is less powerful when you don't have the Gmax form on Rillaboom, because Rillaboom doesn't generally need Tailwind when it's just grassy gliding shit. You mostly want it to go fast when you're maxing it and getting those big drum solos off, right? Next up is the Gourgeist for the Runerigas. I actually like this one.
I like it too.
They're losing their grass type, unfortunately. There's probably a few options for them to trade out for another grass type if they want to. But as a Trick Room setter, this is way better. It's bulkier. It has fewer weaknesses. I think it has more support options. You're just losing general versatility in that slot because Gourgeist can change it between its forms, and it's just, even in its move pool, I think it's more it's more versatile in that it can do more. It can fill more roles than Runerigas can, but as far as like being a Trick Room setter and a support option, Runerigas has more tools for filling that particular role.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of what they need. I understand Runerigas may have played a role in this match, which was just played, but I have not watched that, so I can't speak to that.
The seniors, the Frost for the fan, I think I'm not going to go too much on the Marowak for the Golurk because I think
I don't like it.
Yeah, I think they probably felt that they needed to get something else, but okay.
I get why they did it.
Yeah.
Mostly they wanted more item versatility, I think.
Yeah. But the fan I really like. We talked about it before. Max Airstream user, decent bulk, has access to nasty plot. I think it could be real good for them. So I like the Rotom fan. Honestly, I think it's a good pickup for them.
I think Rotom fan is seriously slept on in draft. And I've never, like, in all the Gen 8 draft I've played, I don't think I've ever seen anybody pick it up. And I'm glad. Like, I've always wanted to, but I've never had a team where it's like I just needed other shit. It didn't fit very well. But I think it's really slept on. It's not even significantly worse than the other Rotom forms, and it's a tier lower, so I think it's a great pickup. But the not having Marowak also threat level pretty significantly, because Marowak is just so nice to be able to just hit the field and just hit hard right away, you know. Next,
Matt's got Aegislash over Electivire. I think it makes sense when you look at how the Mats have been playing. They basically have been using NDD. So
yeah, the Electivire really hasn't been doing anything. I wonder what kind of plans they have for the Aegislash. They're doubling up on their steel types, but this one's a more slow, bulky steel type, so that's good to have because the Kartana is obviously way more offensive.
Can't do much in a Dynamax format though, since it can't activate Stance Change with Max Guard. So
yeah, but I think it's better here than it is in VGC because your game plan relies less on Dynamax here in a 6v6 format. So I kind of like it. It's much like Rotom Fan. It's one of these things that I'm excited to see like what it does. Although Rotom Fan is more something that I think it's more slept on. But they're both things that we haven't really seen much in Gen 8. Draft yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. The Geezers, Persian, Alolan Persian out for Weavile. These Pokemon are pretty similar. You're just trading more support for more offense, but you still got a Dark type, you still got Fake Out, you still got that speed. I don't think this makes too much of a difference here. Maybe you want to self Ice Shard into Salamence, but that's going to do a lot of damage, even if you have a weakness policy with it. But I think this is okay. I think if you're still keeping the beat up in that slot, so you can still do Cobalion stuff. I maybe would have liked to see
evolution lines or 2 full evolutions line drafted. Everything in the Squirtle line and everything in the Torchic line.
No, but Cumbuskin's not there anymore.
Oh, they got rid of the Cumbuskin.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Well, still, no, your point still stands because in the initial draft, they picked Cumbuskin after we picked Torchic. Yeah,
of course.
So you're still right. Okay. Yeah, he is faster than Marowak, but I kind of see that as more of a negative than a positive because both of them would prefer to operate more in Trick Room than anything else. But yeah, they do have the option to run Iron Ball on it or Room Service if they need to. But I get what they were going for. They said in the chat they wanted more item versatility, which is fair. They do have a Ghost type now, which they...
You run Choice Band on Marowak.
Yes, you can. That is a thing you can do. They have a Ghost type now, which they didn't before. Phantom doesn't count. Please don't come at me telling me that Phantom counts. It's still okay, but I generally like Marowak better. Maybe not on this team. We'll see how the Golurk plays out on the team comp. I don't know.
Do we need to hit the next 3?
A little bit, yes. Not all of them.
The Whale Lord's probably the most fun because they got a redirector and a Fake Out user.
Yeah, Whale Lords, that's just straight up Fake Out already, but they have double Fake Out now. The redirection is most important, especially because there's not a whole lot of stuff here that wants to run Sash anyway.
Yeah.
You might want to run Sash on Nihilego sometimes, but I don't think they've done that even once. For some reason, they like Black Sludge. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Life Orb, maybe a Power Herb, or...
Yeah, exactly. But
something like that. But Black Sludge has been their go-to item.
Why? I don't get it. Well, anyway, they have redirection now, which I think is good for them. It's not the redirection you would want, but it's what you got to take. Team Pussy, you're trading one Grass Dragon for another Grass Dragon. I'm not really sure I like this one. Flapple's kind of lackluster, and if it can't really function very well if you're not maxing it, because it does want to do that hustle stuff. But you're maxing it. If you're maxing it, it means that you're not maxing Diggersby or Hatterene or G-Max Cinderace or Celesteela. Alolan Exeggutor can operate a little bit better without max, and it also helps your structure the draft because I get getting rid of Pikachu. I don't really get picking up Persian for it. Persian is just... It's not just bad Alolan Persian, it's really bad Alolan
Does it get Parting Shot?
No.
It gets Fake Out?
Yeah.
But it's slower.
No, it's the same speed, but
okay.
There's so many tools that Alolan Persian has that Kanto Persian doesn't, and it also doesn't have Fur Coat.
Oh, I was just going to say Fur Coat.
No. So... I don't really know what you want to plan on doing with it. It can do some of the stuff Alolan Persian can, but it's
way cooler than Alolan Persian.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't have that fucking circle face, whatever. Yeah.
It's enough for me.
So, I don't know. I just feel like there were better things in C tier you could have taken. And then...
I'm not as bothered by that one than I am by the next one.
Right, yeah. So, okay. The only way this makes sense to me is if they're trying to restructure their draft, and if they're going to trade... Raboot for an E tier next time, and also trade the Kanto Persian for a B tier. Makes sense.
Maybe that's what they're doing.
Makes sense.
Maybe that's what they're doing.
Well, then they should have traded Raboot instead of Dusclops because you lost the only thing that can help you against an opposing Trick Room mode. It's the Dusclops is not, or the Dusclops, Duskull. The Duskull is not great, but it's what the fuck are you doing against Trick Room now? The Eevee is at E tier. I hope they know that. I hope they know that the Eevee is not in D tier. Because it doesn't do anything. It's just... That's why it's an E tier. So...
It's got a Gigantamax.
It's great. You're gonna lose if you max it. Straight up.
What is the Gigantamax on it again? Is it like a track?
Yeah, it's a track. So...
I mean...
Yeah, they did grab 2 normal types, Ryan, but I'm not as bothered by that as I am by the switching the tiers and getting rid of the only thing that helps in your Trick Room matchup. At least keep the Duskull so you have that option. The Raboot's doing nothing. They were hyping up Raboot, and then it hasn't even seen, like, I don't think it's seen Team Preview even once. It's definitely never hit the field. If you were gonna swap out both of those, you should have swapped out the Raboot first, because now teams know, they absolutely know, that they have a real easy time with Trick Room stuff against you, as long as they can get their Trick Room up reliably. And, you could say, like, well, we have ways to prevent the Trick Room from going up. That's not good enough. It's really not. You can, I guess, like, roar with Zapdos or, like, taunt with Grimmsnarl. There are ways around things like that. Fake out with your Grimmsnarl or your, God forbid, you put Persian on the field. There are ways around those things, and you can't just rely on, well, we can stop the Trick Room. You need something to help you in that Trick Room matchup. And, like, you have some stuff that's kind of slow, like the Grimmsnarl and Scizor, but a lot of teams have stuff that are slower.
Yeah.
Like when we played them, they couldn't deal with our Trick Room stuff.
Yeah.
So
set it up twice.
Yeah. So really not good. I hope that they are restructuring their tiers like I think they are, but if not, yikes, this is bad.
Drillers grabbed Pikachu, came in, got blown up by Hydro Pump, faked something out, and then got swapped out for Aerodactyl.
And Pikachu never even died.
Nope. Got a KO with the fake out and got swapped out for Aerodactyl. That was the tech that Brian was talking about the whole time. He's like, I got it for this special tech, guys. Special, super secret tech. It's going to get blown up and brought down a sash, fake something out, and then get swapped back out. Okay. Work?
Sure, Brian. But picking up Aerodactyl here,
I like it.
It's so good.
Yep, helps them out so much.
Because previously the fastest thing on their team was the Mimikyu. Oh, that's rough, dude. But now they have 130 base speed with a pretty reliable Tailwind because it's so fast. Like, that's awesome, man. Aerodactyl also has it's actually pretty versatile. It gets access to Dragon Dance in this gen. It's got a lot of good coverage. I've also in the other league I'm playing in, the guy who had Aerodactyl would sometimes put it next hitter just to cover for opposing type resist berries because the Aerodactyl has Unnerve. So if you have anything with Unnerve like that, you can just you can put it next to something like a Duraludon, and then if you're worried about something with a Babiri Berry, you just fucking Tailwind up. Duraludon is super fast and it can hit through a Babiri Berry. Yep. That's pretty nice. So I think there's so many different ways that this helps out their team. It's kind of like our Noivern last season. Like a lot of our stuff last season was like around that mid-speed range. We had the Duraludon Blastoise as well. But then the Noivern was just so much faster and had access to Tailwind that it forced other teams to prepare for a much faster mode, even if most of our base speeds were not in that range. Fast
Taunt, fast Tailwind, Wide Guard.
Yeah.
I think all those things make it a very, very good fit on this team, particularly next to Follow Me, or a Follow Me user and a Rage Powder user. Yeah. Throw in something that can get fast Tailwind up and Wide Guard in front of you.
Kind of all there is to it. Number 17, Patrats, they definitely had to move down after that. It's not like they even lost to a top-tier team. Usually if that happens, we'll be like, well, that's understandable. Yeah. But, like, they got 6-0'd by a team that was...
That's also ranked below 12.
Right, so... Allan says we don't even need Aerodactyl. I mean, it's not about what you need. It's just, like, it just makes your team so much better.
Yeah.
I agree, like, you can still win without it, but fuck, man, it's a really good option for the kind of team you have.
Real quick, I'll also say this. Mimikyu is way too slow to be the top end of your speed.
Yes.
When we had Keldeo, when we faced off against them, we had Keldeo, Mew, and Zarude all faster naturally than everything on their team.
And they had no Tailwind option.
So it was very easy for us to just be like, okay, well, we can just...
Yeah, we outspeed all of it.
Yeah, we just outspeed it.
Easy.
Yeah. So Now, with Aerodactyl, it's like, no, we have to account for this fast base 130 tailwind SETI, like all of it. It adds a major big dynamic or dimension on their team.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, so the Patrats just had to move down after that loss, especially because the Pixies were also moving up. I believe the Pixies were previously at 17. Yeah, they were at 17, so Pixies absolutely had to move up after that, and which forced the others down. The Raiders, yeah, they didn't play this week, so it's hard to move them down after that. But like
they got a loss.
They did get a loss, but they also haven't really been doing too well in their last few weeks anyway. And the Pixies just needed to move up. They had to after that. And then the Spammers also same kind of deal. They got a loss. Pixies needed to move up. I think that pretty much covers those. Anything to say about 14 through 18?
I mean, honestly, I don't think there's much to say about 18 through 12. The Bulus. Oh, well, I guess yes. Well, we can explain 13 and 12, but no, 14 through 18. I think the records speak for themselves. The Pixies are better than we initially gave them credit for. I think. I don't know how much better.
I think, well, one of the things we touched on last time was that they were just, like, they can be really good, they're just not consistent.
Yeah.
And they've showed that a couple of times that where they've done really well, and then other times they've just completely fallen apart.
Yeah.
This is obviously a week where they've done really so playing a low-ranked team that seemed to be
6-0.
kind of fucking up.
Yeah. So congrats to them. They moved up 3 spots. I think it's well-deserved.
Yeah. For the Mudkips and Bulus, they both won this week, but so it might seem a little bit awkward that they're still down here, that they're not moving at all, especially because because of how the Bulus won. But the thing is, like, it's more just we'll see. There's a couple of teams, namely us and the Jurors, that like couldn't really move much at all this time. So there's a couple of teams around us, both below and above us, that couldn't really move anywhere. Plus, we felt that the Bulus, we already had them up at 13, even though they hadn't taken a win before this week. Anyway, we had them up pretty high for a team that was 0-3, largely because we felt like they were doing really well. We know they're a good team. They have a good draft. They have the tools to win basically any matchup. They've just had some close games where they lost. And this was one of those times where they showed up and things went a little bit more their way, and they were able to pick up a win here. So this really, I think it's fitting to keep them here, even though they won, because we knew that they were good enough to do this already, which is partially why we had them up here instead.
In a little bit more of a way that gives us more credit. We knew that these teams belonged where they were, and the wins that they got just kind of reinforces the idea of what we had been saying. We had the Bulus up higher than the Pixies, the Raiders, and the Patrats. All 3 of those teams had victories, and we had them up higher.
Yeah.
Us as well. When we weren't really having victories, we had us higher. The Jurors, when they didn't really have victories, we had them higher than we had the Patrats. Now those victories are starting to come in, and they're starting to actually settle into the spots where we had them in the first place. So
right.
I think that has a lot more to do with the whole thing, because we've predicted that these teams were deserved to be where they were at, and they're more just kind of filling up or living up to that expectation. You know?
Right. And I think you can kind of say the same for the Mudkips too. The Mudkips were a little bit shakier because their first few weeks, I don't think they were playing as well as the Bulus were. You could tell that they hadn't quite figured out their team yet, but I think and after they took their first win, it was a dominant enough win that we shot them up like 5 spots. Yeah. So I think this being at number 12 instead of maybe being at like 14 or 15 last time kind of accounts for this win as well. So all right. Chat disconnected again. Hopefully it comes back.
Seems like it's running all right.
Next up, we got 6 through 11. This is weird because this is the middle of the pack, but none of these teams won this week.
Yeah.
I mean, except for us, I guess, but like also we didn't. So, Jurors had a bye, so we didn't move them. We got a forfeit win. So
but
like,
even if we would have got a good win, it would have been hard to move us up past the seniors.
I think depending on how the game played out, they still have a really threatening team even without the Marowak. We like them a lot. They're still very good. Unable to connect to chat. Yeah, I don't even know how to. Yeah. Okay. Well,
if you see any issues, let us know in the Discord.
Yeah, just let us know
in
general chat, because the chat's kind of fucking up on our end. Oh no, it's the same one. Yeah, never mind. Okay. I actually don't know how to try to reconnect manually right now. If you know how to try to reconnect a live YouTube chat manually,
thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, the number looks it's still fluctuating. I don't know.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of fluctuations.
But we'll keep going. Potatoes, they've still been doing well, but they did take a loss this week. It was to time, but I still think they lose even without the timer. Doesn't Click also takes a loss. I don't think either the loss for Doesn't Click or the Potatoes was particularly bad. So they're only moving down one. We can't really move them down anymore because that would require moving the seniors up, which we can't do. Maybe even requires moving us up, which we can't do. It doesn't make sense to move them down anymore, but I think it's fitting they took a loss that's not terrible. They moved down one slot.
Yeah.
Regigeezers, they had a more unfortunate game than I think the Potatoes and Doesn't Click did, because it was just hard for them to do much of anything. Especially once the Trick Room mode was up, and especially even after Trick Room was over, Celesteela just came out and Volcanion was gone, so they couldn't do anything. We felt that we had to move them out of the top 5, mostly to move this next team into the top 5.
I think everybody in the top 5 is more the reason why the Geezers aren't in the top 5 rather than the Geezers. You know,
yeah, I mean,
no fault of their own. It was just everybody else played so well. They just kind of pushed them out.
Right. I mean, they did lose against Team Pussy, so we can't hold that against them too much. It is still a loss. We got to count a loss against them. But it was it was against Team Pussy, so it does have to do more with other teams. You're right. Anyway, moving into the top 5 for the first time, your darn heckin' Delibirds.
Congrats to these guys, man. They've worked hard.
So, like we said, I think the Delibirds they finally got an opportunity this week to play one of the mid to high level teams, and they showed that they can still keep up even if they're not playing the Porygons, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the consistency that they've shown in their play helps boost them up here a little bit more into the top 5 instead of being stuck at 6. I don't think I've never watched a game from them where I have a serious problem about how they played. Like I've noticed some mistakes here and there, but like overall, like it's actually pretty consistent. Mm-hmm. And being able to listen to their commentary helps with that too. Like I said, there are some things that I would have done differently, but like I like the way that they're playing. It makes it a little bit more predictable now that we've seen a bunch of games from them, and it kind of seems like they're more consistently going with a more defensive lead that slows down the stuff later. So maybe teams in the future can start to prepare for that. Because I think a lot of people, if they don't really know the team they're going up against, and they just see like, oh, they've got Moltres Comfy stuff. Your instinct is like, all right, well, we got a lead to deal with Moltres Comfy stuff. So now I think people have a better idea of maybe we need to be a little bit smarter about our leads and cover for something that's maybe a little bit slower or a little bit more disruptive, right?
They're making you account for everything that they have on their team.
Yeah.
Making you account for the Luxray, they're making you account for the Nidoking, they're making you account for the Registeel. I think the only thing we haven't really seen is the Virizion, but I mean, they even brought Archeotops or whatever the heck it is, right? I mean,
Archeops, yeah.
Archeops, whatever.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah, I think that's one of the things that they're doing is they're really making you account for everything that they have.
Yeah.
So it's good on them, honestly. One of the surprises in the league for sure, and it's nice to see, definitely.
Yeah, I like seeing a good team succeed or a new team succeed like this. Mm-hmm. So Next up, number 4, we've got the Wolves moving down 2 slots. This is their first loss. They are no longer undefeated. There's not really much to say about them because they've just been playing really well so far. But we haven't seen this last match from them, so can't really say. So which is why they don't have a mascot this time. So,
but they're a top team.
Yeah.
So they're going to be here in number 4.
Yep. Next up, we got the Mats. They picked up a win here again this week against the...
We're at 0 kilobytes per second now, sir.
Well, we've been fluctuating back and forth between
at least we had something, though.
Real bad, kind of frozen. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. If you can hear us, let us know where we froze. Whoop, we're coming back. Kind of. Oh, God.
I'll ask.
Okay. Oh, well, I can... Yeah. Oh, never mind. You got it. Okay. I guess I'll keep going, because why not? Yeah, now it's up at 13,000, 6,000, 2,000. Oh. Okay, we're getting a little bit better. Fuck it, let's keep going. Number 3, we got the Mats. They played against the Spammers this time, and again, it was fucking Regigeezers, dude. Again, it's crazy. This thing needs to be A tier next time. U tier, yeah. Because it doesn't need a Dynamax anyway. Not really much to say about them either. They had a good win. The Drago fucked shit up and didn't even really have a lot of problems with the Azumarill. So they're one of our top teams. Their draft overall is still probably our favorite. They got a win, moved back up a couple slots. Good shit. Number 2. Cheek Drillers.
How did they get to number 2? I thought we were supposed to put them at 14.
No, they're 19.
Somehow they snuck over here at number 2. I don't know how they did that. But the Cheek Drillers, my boys.
Oh, okay. So we froze while we were talking about the Wailords. I'll just reiterate then real quick. We didn't really say much about them, especially because they didn't have a game this week. They did well. They dropped 2 slots because they lost. Or they've been doing well. Dropped 2 slots because they lost the game. That's it.
Yep.
Pretty simple. Cheek Drillers, they've been doing pretty consistently well. They've had some close games. The game against us was very close. The game against the Seniors was very close. But they are one of our undefeated teams, and they've had a stronger strength of schedule, I think, than at least than the Delibirds. So,
yeah.
Yeah, pretty fitting to put them up here. God, especially after that transaction. I love that trade so much. It's so good.
It's a good transaction.
Yeah.
And they're proving this is what we expected out of them last season.
Yeah.
We expected them to be in these top 5 slots consistently because these are Hector and Allan are very good players. The addition of Brian just kind of really rounds them out really nice. But it should. Yeah.
Maybe not this week.
But yeah, I think that this is what we expected out of them last season. It's good to see that they're one of the consistent and better teams in the league because that's what they should be.
Yeah. And bringing up the top. What the fuck is? All right, top. We got Team Pussy once again. Really great game from them, and they got to play. I think they did they? No, they played Doesn't Click already. I was gonna say this is probably the toughest team they've played so far. They've also played Doesn't Click, so it's not that clear. But
they're winning these games. Man.
Good game against the top team.
And they're just winning them. It's crazy. I can't wait to see the match this next coming week because I think the jurors are also good. But man, they're playing good teams and just winning. Yeah. So they're going to be.
They're not flukes. They're they're just fucking winning.
Just winning. Yeah. So yeah.
Not much more to say about that. They're doing real good.
Yep. So congrats to Yue and Sebi. You guys are doing great.
All right, and here are our Week 5 power rankings. We got the Porygons down at the bottom. Patrats moving down after a tough loss. Raiders moving down mostly because we needed to move the Pixies up. Spammers moving down after a loss. Pixies shooting up 3 spots. Great 6-0 win. Bulus took a good win. They were already up high for an 0-3 team previously already. Now 1-3. Mudkips shot up pretty far last time, so we felt they were good at 12 after taking another win here. Jurors had a bye. They're still at number 11. We took a forfeit win. We're still at number 10. Seniors took a loss. They still played well. Couldn't really move them down, mostly because us and the Jurors are kind of locking everybody around that area into their spots. Po-Tay-Toes and Doesn't Click at number 8 and number 7, each taking a loss, moving down one slot. Geezers moving out of the top 5 after taking a loss against Team Pussy, their first loss of the season. They are number 6. In the top 5 for the first time is the darn Heckin Delibirds. This game already played already. We're not going to tell you the results. You can go check that out for yourself. The replay was just posted last night or today. So it is up there in replays. You can go watch that. I do know the result, but I haven't actually watched the match yet. So
same. I haven't watched any of the new matches yet.
Yeah, there's only 2 of them that have actually been played so far. So then we got the Porygons versus the Cheek Drillers. This is extremely straightforward. It's an undefeated team versus a team that has yet to get a win. Obviously, we pick the Drillers.
We choose the Drillers, and they're our boys. So
yeah. Whalelords versus the Sadistic Seniors. The Whalelords have we've seen that they are not impervious to being taken out. So the Seniors could win, but we feel that they've been more consistent in their play. We feel that they've just been doing better than the Seniors so far. So
this one's going to be interesting though. Defensive team versus an offensive team. Immovable object versus unstoppable force. What's going to come through? Because the Seniors have offense on top of offense, but the Whalelords have playing expert defensive games. So,
but they're also taking their games to time, which has proven to be inconsistent.
This league, it has. They have tried to refine this going to time, winning on time strategy. They took a loss last week, but that's what happens. That's what happens when you're refining stuff out. I don't think, and look, we harped on the Patrats last season a lot. I don't think that the Patrats had the formula. It seemed like a lot of it was just like, oh, well, we're going to take an early lead and hold it. And that just didn't seem super consistent. The way the Whalelords are playing, they have legitimate strats. We've seen sub-protect leftover stuff. We've seen, trick room into double, we've seen so many things to just kind of like make sure that they can last throughout the entire time limit. So they may have I don't want to say redefined, but they've come together with or refined the process of, trying to do this. So who knows? Maybe we'll see that they can continue this, or maybe the Seniors just blow through that wall.
I think that's fair, but at the same time, you're giving them more credit than I would.
Okay,
so
it's fair.
Either way, we're still picking up a win here.
Yeah.
Moving over to Shield Division. You want to take Shield?
Regigeezers versus Doesn't Click. We're taking Doesn't Click. This one is a little bit tougher for us because the Geezers have been playing so well.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're really going to break it down to it, Doesn't Click is just they really seem to have the Geezers' numbers when they play, or at least Dave's numbers. I think Dave was saying that they just can't seem to beat them. So no matter what. So we'll see. Maybe hopefully Doesn't Click, or hopefully the Geezers can pull off an upset here, but Doesn't Click doesn't want to lose 2 in a row.
For sure, yeah.
So it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Then the Rural Jurors versus Team Pussy. We picked Team Pussy here. I should more say that Matt picked Team Pussy here. Dina is my girlfriend, and I will under no circumstances choose against her. So if you see I chose her in the pick'ems, it's because I live here, and there's no way that she's going to beat them and then be like, you didn't even pick us to win. So just play it safe. Always pick Dina, no matter what.
Fair enough, I guess.
Next, the Mats versus the Pixies.
This one has actually been played already. I have no idea who won.
Yeah, I don't know either.
This one just got played like a few hours ago. I have no idea who won.
I don't know either, but we chose the Mats.
Because, of course, we did.
Yeah, we chose the Mats. We love Ty and Nick, but Ben and Vichy, who we also love, have been playing in this league, have been a consistent top team in this league, and have one of the best drafts in the league, and they've consistently shown that they're one of the better teams in the league, so we're going to choose them. I love you, Ty and Nick. You guys are fantastic, but it's going to be tough for you guys. Haven't seen this game, but I'm guessing it was tough for you guys. Next, the St. Louis Bulus versus the Ally Switch Spammers. This is going to be good.
Right. Yep.
Because the Spammers have just been put through the meat grinder. Jeez.
They were a top 4 team last time. We know they're better than this.
Yes. So this might be the easiest team that they've had to go up against. And the Bulus aren't bad. They're a very good team too. Like they have a solid squad. So like to go like, we got to break this week with the Bulus. You know, both Ryan and Izzy Max have been, you know, have proven that they can put together teams, have good prep, have decent leads. Like we saw Ghastly come out, we've seen Togetic with Nasty Plot come out. They're going to keep you on your toes and do whatever is optimal. That's not exactly what you would call a gimme win against any of these types of teams. So if you're the Spammers, honestly, I wouldn't even call this a free win or anything like that. Obviously, we're choosing the Bulus to win, but yeah, this is still one of your harder games on your schedule here. But I wouldn't be surprised if Spammers pull this one out. They're due for a win.
Right.
But I like the way the Bulus have been playing. I think there's just no other way to put it. I really, really enjoy like some of the sets that they're coming out with. A lot of their thought processes that they're using for coming to the prep or for prepping certain things. And the Spammers seem more like they just can't find their footing. It's not even like, I mean, like they are playing decently, but it's just like, man, I feel that they're just short of prepping the right way or leading the right thing or making the right move. It's just falling a little bit short of that. So
they've also had a very tough schedule.
Yeah, I mean,
so
yeah,
far.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that should do it.
Yep.
That'll be about it. I think. Let's see. Week. I should also note we don't have. We will have transactions again after this coming week. It should also be noted that this will be the last transaction cycle before playoffs. In previous seasons, we had 4 transaction cycles before playoffs. This time we reduced it to 3. And then we will have our usual playoff thing where you can pick from teams that did not make it. So,
trade deadline.
Yes. So this will be the last time you can make trades in this upcoming transaction cycle. That'll be during week 7, right? So after this coming week. Yep. That'll be that. I think that's the only announcement I have. So